Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. First at 4, major water problems in Jackson. A citywide boil water notice. It's linked to the city's longtime infrastructure problems. The epicenter is the intersection of Laurel Street and Myrtle Street in the Bellhaven neighborhood. There are 2 water treatment plants near the break, and the 36-inch line comes from the main plant. Now, we have team coverage starting with WJTV 12's Terrence Friday. He was the first to get to Jackson's Public Works Director to tell us what went wrong. Terrence.
This all started yesterday when the city thought there was a problem with an 8-inch distribution line, but it turns out that it was something much bigger than that. You can see these crews out here still working now to get control of this situation. Even though the water is still moving very strong, believe it or not, it's not moving with as much force as it was earlier today. We've got some video from when we were here to see what it looked like then. Those crews have been working for hours, and they spent much of the night also trying to work to get to the source of this problem. But we're told from the Public Works Director that it was hard to do so because there were 2 broken valves that were releasing this rushing water at the same time. Well, after more than 16 hours of work yesterday, they stopped and came back today to find that there was actually a 36-inch transmission main that had failed.
This 36-inch transmission main is fed coming out of our JH fuel plant. Most folks know that. That's the one near Waterworks Curve on I-55. We've got a 36-inch main that comes out of there along Laurel Street and then turns right and goes up Myrtle Street. And so with that, we're experiencing low water pressure throughout the system right now.
And we're told they're working as hard as they can, but unfortunately they expect this problem to stretch into tomorrow. We are here on Laurel Street where much of the problem is, but Gerald Harris is actually over here on Myrtle where another source of the problem is intersecting with this one. He actually talked with some of the residents to get their perspective on how this is affecting them. Gerald?
Thanks, Terrence. No one has been more impacted by this water main break than the residents living directly beside it. Take a look behind me. Crews are still hard at work making sure they are restoring this water main break. Now, crews have shut off water to this area, and they're waiting until the water is done overflowing. I spoke to one person in Bellhaven who was shocked by what he saw.
Oh my gosh, what has happened? It was like a disaster. We heard crunches and crashes, and then all of a sudden we're living by a raging river.
Carver Brown is just one of many impacted by the break. I spoke to another resident who said this is one of the worst he has seen. Both of the residents say they are going to local grocery stores and stocking up on water to make sure they're living as comfortable as possible as crews deal with this water main break. Now let's send it over to Alex Love, who has more on local businesses dealing with this issue. Alex?
Yes, Gerald, I'm standing right outside the Sal and Mookie's New York pizza and ice cream joint right now, a place that would usually be bustling and gearing up for the dinner rush this time on a Friday, but right now sits empty and closed up due to this major water outage. Now, this isn't the only business that's been affected by the water outage all day. Dozens of restaurants up and down State Street have had to alter their daily routines in order to cope with having no running water. A common thing I noticed was switching to paper plates and silverware to avoid dirty dish pileup is something they did, as well as establishments renting porta johns to sit outside to be used instead. Obviously not the ideal plans when going out to eat starting your weekend, but owners are saying it's all for taking precaution, preventing customers' health at risk.
The Mississippi Department of Health has a set of standards, and the standard is if you don't have water and you're operating a restaurant, you should not operate. Now, there are options of going to paper supplies and bringing in hand sinks that have potable water that would be like on a porta potty, but the standard is that you should have running water in the kitchen within so many feet of somebody making food so they can wash their hands in between dishes, and especially when handling dirty dishes coming off from customers.
Not many other business owners like Mr. Good also told me that they're keeping in contact with the city government to see when things will be returned to normal. There's no word yet on when that could be for Fondren, but we'll have more updates in the later shows to come. From now, I'm going to send it back to you guys, but I'm Alex Love with WJTV 12 News in Fondren. Back to you at the desk.